Hi. Today we have Gautham Navada from Udupi. He is the CEO of Ford Focus and Vipra Matrimony and one more company. It is a subsidiary. So we are going to know him today, and we know him as an entrepreneur right now. But let's dip down his journey till date and how did he become an entrepreneur. His journey of from start, was it an accident? Was it planned? So let's know it from Gautam. So
Hi.
Gautam, can you tell me about your childhood? Where it was in Udupi itself?
Yeah, hi Aditya. First of all, thank you for having me here. I have been watching many podcasts which you have been doing till date, and uh, this is one point which you are covering, knowing the story behind the people who have done something or who have been doing something. So that is very unique. So I really appreciate your effort and the time you're spending on that. And once again, thank you for having me here. So speaking about my childhood, I was actually born in Mysore. So my mom is from Mysore, my dad is from Udupi. So I am born and maybe for 1 year I was brought up there. Then I came back here. So it's like Mysore, Kundapura, it's two different places.
Okay. So your schooling was from Mysore?
Yeah, it is from, no, it is in Udupi, Kundapura only. So I
Okay.
had my primary education in Kundapura. It is called HMM English Primary School, one of the famous schools, maybe with 50, 60 years of history.
Okay.
Then again, high schooling was again in Udupi district. It is a place called Kota. It is Viveka Institutions, again one of the famous institutions in Karnataka. And then I came back to um, doing my degree, BCA. I was a little bit behind in maths. So my CET ranking was looking like a mobile number. So even
Okay.
though I had to do some influence, even though my father was ready to get a payment sheet, my halat was like that where the colleges were not ready to take me because I was good in computers, but I was good, very, very behind in maths. Chemistry was okay, physics, okay, okay. But if you take the total of PCM, it was not even crossing 120. But then I was getting 98, 99, 95 in computers. And even I also decided in my mind where instead of going for 4 years of engineering, I'm already into computers. My interest is at computers. Why should I waste one more year? Let me get my BCA. So BCA is a Bachelor of Computer Application here in Karnataka. It is for three years. So my point was, okay, let my friends do engineering. I'll do BCA because I'll have one more year extra. So that in that extra, by the time they come out of college, I'll have that time. I'll utilize it to create something of my own. So it started like that.
So while you were in BCA, you started off as a freelancer, or you were working for placement, you were looking for placements.
No, there is also a small backstory for that. Before starting Fourth Focus, um, I was actually into blogging. Blogging, it has been taken over by Google now. It is called e-blogger, blogger.com or blogspot.com. So I was writing some blogs there. I mean, my ideas, my inputs on a very childish level. So most of my friends and relatives are like, okay, you are doing this. Why don't you give us regular updates of what is happening in Kundapura? Because if you see Kundapura, Udupi, Mangalore, 20% of the population here, either they are in Bangalore or either they are in Gulf countries. Or if you go to Mumbai, most of the hotels it is owned by our people. So they are missing out. I mean, what is happening here, what is not happening. So I started a web portal called kundapur.com. It was built on Blogger. Our main agenda was that whatever major things are happening here, which the newspapers doesn't cover. There are 100 events happening here. Major newspapers will cover 10, 15 events, but there are very small events, but it is of a good significance. So we were doing that, taking pictures, coming back to home, writing a blog. Today that happened in Kundapura, this happened in Kundapura. It gave me a very good traction. So I started it in maybe 2010 or something. By the time 2012, we had around 2 billion page views.
That's
I was
nice.
getting very good revenue from Google AdSense also. At that time, it was like for $100, it was 43 rupees. So I was getting $100 every month or every 45 days. And many people started approaching me like, why don't you advertise my business here? So it started like a small blog, and it grew to be a portal where we started getting advertisements. People are interested. Okay, this many people are visiting your news. Why don't I put my advertisement? So it started like that. And then the next level was people again approached me. You have built this website. Why don't you build a website for my business? I have a masala company. I have a small hotel here. I have a company which prepares something. Since you're doing this, I think you can also do this. Why don't you try? Then I was like, okay, fine. Because for me, advertisement was I can charge them like 5,000 per month or 5,000, 10,000 per year, like that. But I knew if I do a website, I could charge them a little bit more. I was around 17 or 18 that time. At that time, the main agenda was to get money.
Exactly.
If I have money, if I have this much money, I will buy this phone. If I have this much money, I will this computer. The calculations was like that. So then slowly we started. My first client was a local masala company. They are a very famous brand here. It is called Abhiruchi Masala. They are also very famous in Pune, Mumbai. Every people from Shetty community, Bunt community, you will see this masala placed in their home. They approached me, Gautham, let us do this website. So for me, it took around 2 3 months at that time for one website because I was just into blogging. Then we started to do a specialized website for them. It was launched in July 2012. So
By
that
this
is how I
time,
got it.
so by this time you are doing BCA, right?
By that time, I was actually completing my second PU.
Okay.
I mean, +2.
Okay, plus two. So after
Yeah.
plus two, you were starting, you started, when did you start a blog?
A blog was maybe when I was in eighth, ninth, or 10th standard that time.
That's really very early. I mean, by that time, you don't even have PCs, at least our generation.
Even in our house also, we did not have a PC. I used to borrow 10 rupees, 20 rupees from my
Oh, that net
father.
cafe.
Then we went to net cafe. Then I made a good relations with that net cafe guy. Then he was like, okay, even if you overstay, fine, whatever you have, you give me. I think you're doing something. He's a very good friend of mine. We are still connected. His name is Mr. Mohit. So whatever the initial growth I had, he has a very good contribution because at that time everybody was coming to play NFS Most Wanted or Counter Strike games. I was sitting and I was doing something. He was like, he recognized me. ये बंदा तो कुछ करने वाला है. Let me support. So even if I stayed for 3 hours, he was like, okay, Gautam, 10 rupees is enough. You do, you do. He was supporting me like that.
That's nice, but that was pretty early. I mean, at this 8th standard, you're blogging. And how did you come, means, how did you get to know about blogging at that early age?
I was a computer enthusiast from the long time. Uh, my point was there were so many influences around in this area where there were some people who I used to follow in the tech in our part. Sunday special editions would come in the newspaper, Udayavani or Vijay Karnataka. Tech related news would be carried only on Sundays or at least on weekly ones. So there were some tech writers. Mr. Jaidev Prasad, he was one of the famous writers here. He was like an early tech enthusiast here. He used to write some articles. The article was 75%, and 25% he was like, visit this site, so you will get more articles. So then it was like xyz.blogspot.com. Then I was like, what is this blogspot.com? Let me see. Then I went and then I explored because I had a hunch for that knowledge. But generally in the paper writing, it is like that only. They'll not give you full information because they want to continue to the next episode. It is like a mega serial, 75% information here, rest 25% you have to wait for the next edition. So it was like that, but they were mentioning for more articles, you come here, search this site. So that is how I got into
Blogging.
first website was not on WordPress. WordPress journey is a separate journey. It was on we built a we changed the entire Blogspot site using XHTML and other thing to look like a website. Initially, Blogspot. Nowadays, you have themes and templates in Blogspot also. You can buy that theme and apply it. it will look like a website. But initially it was only purely blog. But we did some additional customizations and all those things. The Blogspot site also was looking like a complete website. They also recently had introduced Google, just taken over that Blogspot. They also gave that option to add a custom domain. So in initial days, you could only make aditya.blogspot.com. But now they had that option where aditya.com, you can do that. So using that, we did that. It was in 2012. I was getting pocket money. I took my first mobile I took from that remuneration.
Okay, so you did from that. You're still in college +2 right now while doing this.
Yeah, plus two, it was just finished, I think, yes.
So then how did you carry forward in BCA? I mean,
Yeah, BCA it was good because it was like I mean, when you speak about cricket, there is something called home ground.
hmm,
BCA was like that for me because whatever concepts either I already knew, and other things were very interesting. For example, microprocessors and all those things. We knew the top level concepts, but at the end everything communicates in 0101 FH FH FF FH all those things. So BCA journey was 99% interesting. There was one concept again for maths that was a little bit hesitant, but the teachers assured that you don't worry. These are like a fixed things which will come. You simply practice some 20, 30 solutions. You write it in the paper, then you just see the question paper and put the numbers. So that is how. Average, I could make around 80, 85% was there. Um, yeah, at the end, we had some practicals where they will give you the mark. I got some 95% in the practicals, putting my overall average to 90, 95. But that marks, it actually never bothered me because I was already prepared in my mind where there was some campus selection. Wipro, Infosys had come to campus. Many people were interested. They got placed into it. The initial offering was around 12K or 15K per month, but the program was exciting. It is like earn and learn program where you sign up for them for 2 years. By the time you complete your agreement, you will get a degree from BITS Pilani. BITS Pilani is like a very big brand name. Uh, Localites like us from here, this place, it is difficult for us to get into BITS Pilani. But my point was, I was thinking in a way that 5 days I have to work, 2 days I have to learn. I opted BCA just because to get a 1 year deduction from the learning part. Who will go to Bangalore and who will sit there for 2 days in the class? I was thinking in a way that, okay, they are giving me 15,000, which is actually a great amount for a beginner from this place. But my point is, I was making 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 per month by doing this small freelancing. Then I decided, when I'm already making 10,000, just to get that 5,000 more, why do I have to go to Bangalore? Because Bangalore is expensive when you compare to my place. Then I decided, okay, this is the time where let's do something. My only agenda was I'm earning 10, how do I make it 15? So I can convince my parents. If I went to Bangalore, I get 15, I'm already getting 15 here. So it started like that. Then we slowly expanded. We started, I mean, instead of doing one project, we did two, we did three. Then
so
by the end of
after BCA,
2015,
you did opt for the placement and you started off
no,
your own. You
yeah,
continued.
yeah. Instantly I started off, yes.
Okay, okay, yes, yes.
Because I told you, I had that freelancing background. 2012 was the first website. By the end of 2015, I had made some 10, 15 websites, small business websites. So combining the overall monthly revenue, I was easily making 10, 12,000.
Okay, absolutely right. I mean, it makes sense. And do you come from a business family or are your parents
So
working?
I'm from a Brahmin family. My family is a pure Orthodox Brahmins, where my forefathers were priests in the temple. My grandfather was a very famous cook here. My father somehow got into photography. It is a business background, but not a technical one. My father is also a very famous photographer in this part. I mean, he was one of the pioneer photographers. Maybe he was the first or second to start digital photography in my belt. So he's into photography from last 20, 25, 30 years. So he's also a big name in that. But nobody from technical or the core business background.
Okay.
Somehow,
Your track record showed that you are a proper businessman rather than a working professional. That is why there was no heat from the parents that you don't
No,
work
parent
that
heat was there. No, that was a separate story. There was so many pressure. Even 2, 3 years, my father had stopped talking to me because
okay.
even his brothers are there. My uncles, they also went to Bangalore. They started off a small hotel. They are also into catering and all those things. I mean, business people were there. My there are 2, 3 uncles. They are also into business. I mean, they are doing good. But my father has seen their struggle. Even my father is also into photography. He has seen that struggle. He didn't want that struggle for me to take up. It's like every time you are dependent, if that payment is not coming, then you are struggling. So he's like, we don't want this pain for you. First of all, he wanted me to become an engineer. Whenever he got to know that I'm not in a position to do engineering, then the 50% hopes had come down. He's like, my son, he's gone. I mean, he's off the track now. He's saying he's doing some BCA. I don't know. Because, typical Indian families, they are either you should be a doctor or you
or
should be
engineer.
engineer. Else you are like no one. The same thing is there here. That too, then when at least he had a hope where I'll somehow get placed into Wipro, somehow I'll get placed into Infosys so that he'll be okay. My son's life is settled. Then again, when he got to know I did not attend the interview at all, then the volcanoes erupted in the home. Like 2, 3 years, my mom was talking to me. My father was like, okay, okay, yes, bye. That's it. He was so, I did not come up to his mark. All those things were there. But slowly, when we started to expand, I actually did not have a vehicle also. I was traveling to client place with cycles. Seeing that he actually used to give me his bike, but he was so calculative, like, okay, I've put 100 rupees petrol. Now it has come to half tank. Why did not you fill up? So I was also having that pressure. Taking a bike is not a big deal. I have to put a fuel also. So after some time, maybe 2, 3 years into business, I took my Royal Enfield. So he was surprised. Okay, you took the Royal Enfield was at that time it was 1.5 lakh. So this guy managed to get a bullet of his own. Fine, okay. How did you manage the fund? The first question was like, how much is it on loan? What if the bank people come to my home? I'm not going to give you one single rupee. You could have taken Activa. Like, I mean, he was happy in one side, but the other side he was worried. Did this guy take some wrong path? How was he able to bring a bullet of like that? But then he slowly started getting to know. But until the day we expanded the team, he was still like, okay, he's doing something, he's earning, he's traveling out, he's traveling in. I'm not sure if some relatives would ask. Most of them had told me, "What is your son doing?" My father would used to say, "I don't know what he does. He sits in the computer, he attends some meetings, he takes his laptop, he goes to Bangalore, he goes to Mangalore, then he comes up with some money. I'm really not sure what he's doing. Maybe until last 4 or 5 years, he had told the same. But
So
now the story is different. He's very happy.
that's right. That's right. I think so. I mean, it's just a matter of time until our parents know exactly what we are doing. So that's nice. So are we? Is fourth focus started now or?
Yeah, fourth focus, I registered it as a self-proprietorship firm in 2015. It was 2015. I took my vehicle in 2018. It's a 3 years after
And you completed a BCA in 2015.
2015. Yeah, I passed BCA in 2015 March.
Hmm.
April 4th is my birthday. It's like my lucky number. So whatever I do, I started in April first week. So April 4th, I registered my domain. Maybe April 15th or 16th, I got my there was no GST at that time. There was VAT. So I took my register for self sole proprietorship. Only that much is sufficient.
Right.
We had no office. I used to sit in my one corner of my room. So that's how we started. 2015. Fourth focus was officially born.
So when did your first employee join your team?
First employee was maybe 2018, I think. Yes, 2018.
Okay, for 3 years you were doing on your own.
For 3 years, I was everything. I was the founder, I was the director, I was the accountant, I was the designer, I was the developer, I was the sales, I was the tester, I was the marketing guy. I was the everything. It's common, not only with me.
Exactly.
Anybody who's starting, founder is everything. But I feel that one should go in that phase at least for the first part, so that they will know what pain is involved in every sector. Either you should be in a experienced corporate place to understand all this. If you're in a corporate, it will take you around 5-10 years to get into the knowledge of all departments. But when you start up, since you are working in sorry, every place, you know what is happening, what the client requires in every phase. So somebody new joining you cannot simply tell you, sir, this is not possible. For my team members, it is like they cannot, if it is a genuine reason, they can come and convince me. But for false reasons, they cannot to say anything, because he know that everybody knows that I have been through that place. So for them, if they find it difficult, I know the easiest way to do is because I've been doing that from the day one. So that is one additional benefit when we started up everything of our own. If you have something with design, I know the output for that. If you have something with the development, I know how to overcome with that. You have some problem with testing, okay, I know because I've been doing testing. Because for me, we do the UX, we do the UI, we do the development. I test the theme, I go to the client place. So now there are members for each and every task. So that is one benefit. So I feel that we have that control, because nobody can come and tell you, sir, this is not going to work. Because I know it will work, and I've been doing that. That is one added benefit.
Exactly. And in that way, no employee can, tell, sir, it can't happen, or he cannot fool you. Because I know
Yeah, yeah.
you can say it to him with confidence, no, I have done it and it is possible. Uh, so, Gautam, you are based in Kundanpura, and so initially you have to grab local clients. So,
Hmm.
how did you go to people? I mean, initial stage, how would you grab local clients, or what was your strategy used
Yeah.
initially?
Initially, as I said, when we were doing that portal, the first few customers, they came approaching me. So initial phase was, they were approaching me that we want to do this website, we want to do this, that, or all those things. But when we want to scale, that was not enough. So initially, I was doing the face-to-face marketing. I was traveling to places. I was actually I was preparing a list, or maybe one, if it a 2 weeks task. In 1 week, I will see what all business needs, what all requirements. I would use Google Maps to see if their website is there, see if their logo is proper. Even if somebody is having the website, I would go and visit that and make a list out of what they are lacking in the website, what they can do the improvement. So I would prepare a book or a sheet with all those things, and then I would approach them. So in a month, 15 days for research, 15 days for visiting. So simply, if you go and ask the client, your website is not good, let me create a website, then they will tell you like, हाँ ठीक है, check करता हूँ, देखना पड़ेगा, बताता हूँ, team से बात करता हूँ. But when I visited them, I would go with the 2-3 sheets of points. Your website, this is not there, that is not there. Tuck, 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 tuck. When he sees that list, then he would immediately take a handkerchief, and they were like, okay, ये तो urgently fix करना पड़ेगा. So that was one trick I used to do, because that is how business people, they will not have more time to waste. So they will give you less time. In that time, you should try to convince them. So these are the good points that they will be easily. I mean, even if they go and check it, they will find these difficulties or the errors which their website is having. Then I usually immediately, most of the time, instantly, I either got the check, I came back with taking their username and password. So that was also my agenda. Generally, what happens, they're like, okay, I will tell you, I will discuss. I like, sir, I can wait for 30 more minutes. You discuss, you tell me, I'll take the advance and I'll go. And more people, they would give the advance, but they'll not give the username and password, because that will be with some other guys. I said, so you please call the other developer, tell him these are the things. Don't tell him you will be giving to some other agency. They'll give you more trouble. You tell them like somebody from your family is doing it. My banja hai, my beta hai, my ladka hai. They will do it. At that time, they will not have any questions. They have to give the username and password. So I would make sure one is I would give that one. I will take that once. I will take the username and password. Then we would start the work. So initial phase was like that. This went on for 3 years, 3-4 years. The same process I would used to do. And later on, maybe after three or four, 2018, 19, I stopped doing this face-to-face marketing because at that time the market was filled with the developers. I mean, people used to come back from Bangalore, they used to set up a company here. People used to come back from Mumbai, they used to set up a company here, and they were doing this price game. They're like, I will give you a website in 5,000. I will give you a website in 2,000. But I was never with that price point. That from the day one also, I used to price on a little bit premium point because my point is I'm not doing a one-time business. If I'm working with you, I should work with you for like 20 years. So my first client, they're still with me. From 2012, they are still with me. It's been like 11 or 12 years. They're still with me. My point is like that. It is not a volume game. I'm doing a quality game. So my point is instead of having 100 clients who are paying you 1,000, you will have two good clients who will pay you 50,000. So I used to do in that point. So whenever we went to this offline marketing, they are like, आपका प्राइसिंग तो 30,000 में है, बैंगलोर से कोट आए है, वो 8,000 में करने वाला है. So I used to get this. Then I understand, and there are some part of customers where they are only into price. They don't want the quality. At that time, you cannot segregate that if this a customer is a quality customer or a pricey customer. So I actually reduced that marketing and we focused more on quality increasing, standardization, all those things. Slowly, maybe first 3-4 months, there was some little bit of downfall in the graph. Then we slowly started getting reference. I did a website for a client in 2012. He referred to a new client. So then this reference, it took us to a next level. So till now, we don't have a marketing team. I mean, there is nobody in the marketing or a sales team. So most of the business we are getting is from reference. But we are in a such a way right now is we are getting 5 reference. I am only able to cater 2 or 3 now.
That's nice. I mean, that's a good funnel you are having.
It's a backstory of almost 2012, 2024. I mean, 10, 12 years. So that is why maybe we are able. I mean, that will never happen in 2 or 3 years. Whenever many people ask me, how are you sourcing the clients? How are you getting the clients? When I tell this, they are like, no, you are lying. That is never going to happen. I said, boss, you wait for 10 years. You do your good job for 10 years. See, after 10, 12 years, this will happen.
Right. That's nice.
Now, when I say this, it feels like very easy, very good, but actually we know the pain point. Even you are also in the same line, it is very difficult to reach till this state because even business or life is like my teachers used to say, tell it to me. It's like a game of football. 100 goals and you are the goalkeeper. You save 100 goals. People will never remember that. You miss one goal and they are like, what is this guy doing? They'll come up with all the suggestions. The same with Dhoni. How many stumps he has taken, nobody will remember. If he misses one thing, they'll stand up and like, aisa nahi, aisa pakadna tha, aisa pakadna tha. So the same happens here. So you once wrong move and the 10 years of trust you have built is gone. So we are more focused on that. So that is how we are placing here. So now we have expanded the team. We have around 8 full-time employees and some 5-6 people who does on a part-time. We also have we have built more than 1,500 websites till date. My Big Rock account itself, it has around 300, 400 client domains right now. We are who are regularly renewing the services with us. And maybe 300 clients we have served. We have clients from all over, at least 8-9 countries in the world. So all those things that came from reference. I started traveling maybe from last 2-3 years. Before that, I was only here. I mean, business-wise traveling I was doing here. Personal traveling, I finished almost half of the India. That is a separate matter. But looking back the journey, it is a little bit challenging also. And nowadays, when people are starting, I'm suggesting them. I have done this mistake. You don't do this mistake.
My next question that only coming from Bundanpura, a tier 2 cities I'll refer.
You can take it tier 3 only. It is not even tier 2. It is tier 3.
Yes, tier 3 city.
We got optical fiber after COVID. Can you remember? I mean, can you imagine? 2023 or 2022, we got optical fiber in the city. So we were connecting that dongle, we were using hotspot. I mean, we are in that phase. Yeah. Now it is like after 5 years, it will be like Bangalore, I can assure you.
Right. So let's come to the conclusion. And what suggestion would you give to a person who is coming from a tier three city, and he is located like you? You are located just a few kilometers away from IT hub of India, that is Bangalore.
Hmm.
And if a person wants to start business like you from a tier 3 city, what would you
Hmm.
suggest him, that should he go to Bangalore or should he start from there itself, or
Hmm.
means should he travel to the tier 1 city and start off, or should he take the leverage of tier 3 cities expenses and go to Bangalore or go to the tier 1 city and find some clients and then come? So what will be your suggestion for a tier 3 city entrepreneur, that what should he do?
Understood. So actually, this is a good point. I'm also in the same phase of educating people right now. We are actually 500 kilometer away from Bangalore. I'm in the coastal belt of. For me, Goa is much closer. Goa is 200 kilometer. Bangalore is 450, 450, 500. But even initially, also we had that same point. Everybody was like, "What are you doing here? You come to Bangalore, opportunities zyada hai." All those things are there. That is true. But my point is, I'll not say that is completely right or completely wrong. But I'm a hometown guy. I like my hometown. My point is, I don't want to earn 10 lakhs in Bangalore. Even if I earn 10,000 here in Kundapura, it is safe because I have my parents with me. My mother will cook whatever I want. I am this kind of guy. So I'll answer you in this point of view. For me, my initial agenda was never to make money because I already learned in that phase. Whenever I try to do money, I lose money. Especially you are in business, you want to solve people's problem. So your main agenda of the company or everything should be where you have to find out what is missing in that particular industry or a sector, and you should address your solutions. And if your goals are oriented in solving clients' problem, money will come automatically. These are the many quotes you can see in Instagram. But I am a living example. We have been doing that. Whenever I worry about gathering money, that month we'll not have money. But when now after 3 4 years we are focused, we have forgotten about this money and other things. Our only agenda is for the following up of services, quality assurance, all those things. When you are aligned in that, for you the place or the city, tier one, tier two, tier three, it doesn't make any sense. If you want to grow quickly, if you want to have a team, if you want to scale up, if you want to get investments, if you are aligned in that, then you have to definitely go to Bangalore. If you are on a very sorted mode, then you can be in any place you want. You see an example of Zoho. Zoho is like a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They were in US. Now they have come back to Chennai. If you see his owner's history, he puts a vesti and panche. He travels in cycle. So I mean, in the future, I want to see myself like that. I mean, that is all, and it depends on you. But for acceleration, quick growth, quick knowledge of quick insights, Bangalore is definitely. I usually say many people don't come and start company quickly, because if you start a company quickly without knowledge, it will take, for me, it took around 8 9 years to get a fixed revenue flow with lots of challenge, because everything you have to learn. Nobody can come and tell you that too. You're in a tier three city, you are like a big person here. Whatever you do, there is nobody going to come and challenge you. So that will put you in a place where sometimes you'll get lazy, sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm doing good, all those things. But in order to understand the struggle, in order to understand the pain, you have to leave your hometown, you go there, you work for some companies, even if it is a low salary, you work there, you get the knowledge, you see how the operations work, you will understand what your company you are working in is making wrong. Then you come back to your hometown, you start set up a small company. So your growth will be skipped. I mean, the struggle will be skipped for 2 3 years. You directly come and set up here. You have to go through all this pain. It is like building a home from the basement. If you go outside, it is like you're taking a ready-made apartment. At the end of the day, you are staying in a place, but what you want, that is, you have to decide. But I would definitely suggest somebody should go outside and work and come back, because I've seen many people in my contacts. They went outside, they worked for 3 4 years, they came back. Within 2 years, they were able to set up a team of 20 30 people because they broke the game. For me, now I am getting an idea how we should scale, how everything should happen. But when you go outside, it is not only one input you are getting 100 inputs. So that benefit is always there. At the end of the day, as a businessman, it is up to you. It is your company. You decide what you should do. You go for that. You go for this. What agenda you want to solve. What pain point you want to solve. So you have to take it on that.
Yes, that was very insightful, and thank you very much, Gautam, for such a
Yes.
knowledgeful session we had and giving us the time on this Sunday morning. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aditya. Thanks for having me.